Yeah, we're really excited to be back home. I can tell you that. The month of June was a really good month for us in terms of results, performances, but it was a bit stop and start, and with three games on the road. So we're really a team that came back into training this week with a good mentality of understand that we have a home game, an opportunity to start a new month here as we chip away. And no better opponent than to go against is the top of the table Philadelphia Union, who are having a great season, a really well-coached team that can hurt you in a lot of ways, and they're really good at what they do. And so we know it's going to be a battle, but it's a challenge that we're up for.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Julian, and if you have two questions, go ahead and ask them.
Okay. How much is this just kind of a test to see how you guys stack up against one of the best teams in the league right now?
I think for us, it's more about continuing to build on our performances. Philly's a good team. They're going to challenge us in a lot of ways, both with and without the ball. But for us, I think it's just more about continuing to, build and stack performances that we can play the way that we want to play. And we know there'll be a lot of growing and learning from this game that we'll be able to take further with us in the season. But I think for us, it's just about being excited to come home and have the home crowd behind us and play with intensity and play with energy.
Today is actually 1 year since you were hired here, so congrats on the 1 year. What have you kind of learned about yourself since picking up this role that you're in?
Ooh, that's a good question. What I think you learn is that it's important that the club that you're in, the club that you get support from, alignment of vision, so how I view the game, being aligned with a club that has the same vision, and that you need a great team around you. And that's from the players, the staff, the front office, all the way to ownership. I think you learn very quickly that you're only as good as sort of the people that are around you, and I'm thankful and grateful for that opportunity here in Nashville.
Blair?
Yeah, BJ, Philly, when you played against them earlier in the season, it seemed like maybe they weren't sure how to deal with certain things, and it seemed like maybe you surprised them a little bit in the way you played. And do you feel like there's an element of that with Nashville SC in the league right now, where maybe teams just aren't used to what you're putting out there? And do you see teams kind of catching up to that as the season progresses?
I mean, I think throughout the league, you see we're all constantly trying to evolve and grow and make changes and adjustments, game to game, opponent to opponent, and throughout the year just getting better at what you do. And we're no different. We're trying to do the same. We're trying to do the same thing. But again, I think what we're trying to also do is be a little bit adaptable, right? And we don't change our core values and how we want to go about the way we play, and the way we act on and off the field. But you do have to sort of see what the opponent is good at and try to neutralize, and what there might be everyone's going to have vulnerabilities somewhere, and can you exploit it? And for us, I think our team's done a good job at that. And for the most part, that's what we're going to continue to try to do.
And then in terms of, we were out here today and saw the training, and there's just everybody seems to be having fun, let's say that. And obviously there's seriousness and there's moments like that in every sort of professional environment. But how important do you think that part is, to where players are coming in, being themselves and having fun, to where in the past maybe, especially in losing, when they were in losing streaks or not getting results, let's just say, maybe that part just wasn't as apparent to us from the outside?
Sure. I mean, I think from day one, we've tried to create a structured and consistent environment. The way that we go about our day-to-day, we want to be detailed. We want to be predictable, because at the end, that's where we think individual players, individual people, staff players, can then be their best versions of themselves and can express themselves. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so what we want to do is create a lot of certainty in how they come in every day and how we prepare. And it can be still demanding and have high levels of expectation, but that comfortability that I think we can create in our environment allows the players to see themselves, and hopefully that's what you're seeing when you come see training, is guys that want to compete the right way, but at the same time we're playing a kid's game, and we all grew up doing it, and we still don't ever want to lose that level of let's call it like that level of joy of it's still, we're all highly competitive people. We all want to win. That's never in question. But we're also very grateful for the opportunity that we get to come and coach or play soccer as a profession. And we have to keep that in mind all the time.
Annette?
Thank you. Coach, we saw Nashville playing in the playoffs since they arrived to the MLS. Last year, they lost in their way. So do you have a key this year to have something different that probably could get Nashville be on the way to have something else apart from the MLS winning this tournament?
So, I mean, I think for us, I think there was obviously a level of disappointment across the whole club coming off of last year's, sort of season. But those seasons happen to every good organization. It's not, I don't think it's indicative of like, one season's not going to be indicative of how the next sort of seasons go. And I think it starts with, there's a lot of good people at this club. There's a lot of good players at this club that were here. There was a lot of good things that happened at this club. And for us as a group, you had a motivated, returning group of players that wanted to make sure things were different. And that was combined with obviously some new guys that we were able to acquire. And from the beginning, it was just about being focused on what can we do this season? That's the only thing that we all can control, is the 6th season of Nashville. And we want to make it the best. And I think the question that you ask is sort of the future. We'll let other people judge our season in the totality of all seasons in the MLS, in Nashville's history. For us right now, we're just focused on writing the best chapter that we can write, and see how it ends, but we're having fun doing it.
And for you, from Holy Spirit High School to becoming an MLS star, how much satisfaction is for you that kid who played in New Jersey and now you are giving us this conference?
Yeah, I think for me it's been, if you ask me when I was that kid, that this isn't like this wasn't what I thought I would have been doing. But kind of along your journey, along your path, I think you're influenced by a lot of people. And at the same time, I think of as a person, I've tried to just do the best job at the job that I have, and then opportunities present themselves. But again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I think the fit of myself with the alignment of the club from top to bottom is a really good fit. And again, I think when you live in an environment where you're comfortable and you're supported, just how we try to create for the players, for coaches, for staff, that's when the best versions of yourself come out. And I feel, thankful that I have an opportunity here to be the best, to sort of be the best version that I can be. At the same time, it's my first time. That's not lost on me. And I've made a lot of mistakes and, glad that I have a lot of people that can pick me up and maybe mask some of those mistakes and continue to just kind of grow and learn, so I don't repeat them.
Thank you.
We'll go to Claudio on Zoom.
BJ, the last 6 meetings, 3 wins for Philly, 2 for Nashville, 1 draw. And the last, game in March, you guys won 3-2 over there in Philly. How much has the game changed in terms of the season? It's an older season now. And what do you expect this time around?
Yeah, I think the thing that you get with Philadelphia is that one of their greatest strengths is their consistency, and you can see that that's why they're one of the best teams in the league this year. That's why, if you look back over the last, 5 or 6 years, they've been one of the best teams because they have a they have a club philosophy, and they're very consistent in what they do, and so I expect that to happen again on Saturday night as you see a vintage Philadelphia team that's going to play with intensity, that's going to be very difficult to break down without the ball, and has very clear ways on how they want to hurt you with the ball and create goal-scoring chances. And so for me, it's about us being detailed and how we want to stop that. But at the same time, first and foremost, you've got to match the work rate of that group. They are a well-oiled machine that plays with great intensity, and for us, the intensity is the starting point of how this game is going to go.
Now, I'm going to take you off track a little bit here, BJ. because of the fact that the U.S. Is going to play another Gold Cup final coming up. Did you expect this to happen with this young team, with the Pochettino as a new coach and everything? And what is your expectations as an American now, anyways, and former coach for the team going into the final again?
Yeah, I think for us, we don't ever want to lower our standards as Americans or being part of the national team. You want to win the Gold Cup. It's a great honor. There's a lot of tradition and a lot of history. Before this team, there was teams that won the Gold Cup. And after this team, there'll be teams that win the Gold Cup, but your objective is always the same. And I think when you look historically, especially over the last couple Gold Cups, it's been traditionally a young team that has played in that tournament and has risen to those challenges and has played Mexico in finals and in semifinals. So what I can say is that anytime you put Mexico versus the U.S., it's a great game. It's a game that has a lot of factors into it, whether it's tactical, whether it's physical, whether it's sort of the stadium and the environment. And no matter what happens with the result, the players that go through that are going to come out on the other end more prepared for the next time that they get an environment like that. And the way it's trending right now is some of these players may make the World Cup, and those games will have a very similar feel. So any bit of experience that they can take from that will pay dividends later, and will pay dividends for all of us as we try to continue to grow American soccer.
Chris Harris?
BJ, I'm curious, during this unbeaten streak, your mantra and really your players have too have been just all about, we're only focused on continuing to get better. I'm curious as to why that specific mantra and idea has been the main thing that's been the most effective for you, and how you guys approach it as you keep racking up points.
Because that's the stuff that we can control. So we talk about, and I've said it before, the only thing that we can control is the inputs. So the winning streak or these type of things, that's just output. We don't really dictate the outputs. We dictate what we put in every day. And every day is we have a clear way we want to play, clear way we want to train, and the clear way we want to learn. And all of that is about getting better at what we're doing. And that's developing individuals, developing the team, developing across the platforms of our club, every aspect. And there's always room for improvement. But again, it's what keeps us sort of driven, grounded, but at the same time, it's the only thing that we actually have full control in, which is our ability to reflect and refine on our performances and continue to try to push everybody to improve.
One more follow-up, just with Sam. When you have a player like that that's been so effective and on a heater like he's been, how do you continue to ride that while not acknowledging it? It's almost like you don't want to talk to a pitcher during a no-hitter because you don't want to mess with the mojo. How do you deal with that?
For us, it's quite simple. We know where Sam wants to score goals from, and so our job is to continue to build opportunities and build ways for, I would say right now for Sam to score goals, but it's for everybody. Hani's been making great levels of contributions to him. He's the one that draws the penalty kick and has drawn multiple penalty kicks this year. So we know the way that we want to play. We know the way that we want to create high-quality goal-scoring chances. And at the end of the day, we know that we have the quality on the field, that if we're able to do that in a repeatable way and in a way that's has a certain level of volume, enough to do it, the quality of our guys on the field, whoever it is, will step up and execute.
John Glennon?
Hey, BJ. I just wanted to touch real quick on the Gold Cup as well. We saw Walker Zimmerman last night. Didn't play a lot, obviously, but how nice was it to see him get in there for some very crucial minutes there towards the end of the game? Show a little bit of confidence perhaps that the coaches have in him and maybe allow him to kind of bounce back from, maybe a couple games earlier in this while playing for the U.S. team?
Yeah, I think first and foremost you start with though the quantity of minutes in the match may not have been high, the importance of those minutes was massive. And again, when you build a team, you need to build teams that players are going to do certain roles, and it's nice that you have a player like Walker Zimmerman who can play at that moment. You can go to him and ask him to do a very specific role, and he's able to not only perform it but excel in that role. And then flip side, it's credit to somebody like Walker who worked really hard to get himself back, has continued to keep himself in the pool for the national team, gets selected for the national team, but then ultimately over the period of almost being away for a month, keeps himself prepared as a true professional. We get to see his professionalism every single day, but to be prepared to be whenever called on, he's called on. And again, I thought that was a great moment of what you ask and what it takes to be really part of a winning team and a winning culture. And he stepped up great for them.
And just sort of to follow on that, I wonder what it's like for you watching, whether it's Walker for the U.S. or Jacob playing for Canada. Are there a little bit of mixed emotions involved, knowing that great if they play well and they advance, but on the other hand, that's more time away from the team as well?
No, we talk about our environment as a club and as a coaching staff and everybody in our building is we want to be the caretaker of dreams. And it's okay to have multiple dreams. So you can dream just as much as you want to help Nashville SC do things, but we all know that there's a great sense of pride to represent your country. There's nothing greater than representing something bigger than yourself. And we are a club that supports all players that have the opportunity to go represent their country, and we would support that, and we would only root. If I could, we'd have Canada and maybe USA in there, but like you see, with Panama and Honduras, like it's just great. It's great. There's so many guys from MLS represented, and for us, it's just we get a tremendous amount of pride seeing them perform for their country.